In 1903, the history of Villa Madonna Academy began when the Benedictine sisters purchased the W.C. Collins estate. This estate had one building, the Collins Home, which was built in 1870. This building served as the residence for the teachers and students when the school began. Thursday, September 8, 1904, was the first day of school for the Villa Madonna Academy. 12 students were enrolled at this time. The school transportation was a horse named Teddy and a wagon. This was the beginning of the history of Villa.
Well, the first ones who came were all elementary students, and they lived in the guest house, it was called the Collins House then, but then named Villa Madonna. That was their life, that was their home. They might get to go home at Thanksgiving and Christmas, and so they all got to be very close. They played together, they had school together, they ate together, they slept together in the same dormitory, which was the third floor. It was like a big attic, and they all slept up there.
2 years later, after the first boarders came to stay at Villa, the sisters decided to expand and create a new building.
The cornerstone has 1906, and they actually had the plans for it before that. Beautiful plans, you can see this. It looks the same. And how did it improve life? Well, it gave more classroom space. And then they also had dormitories up on the third floor, which were used.
In September of 1907, Villa began accepting high school students, with 12 students in the freshman class and 37 in the elementary school. The school went very well for many years. In 1911, Villa had its first graduating class, which contained 4 girls. They were also the first class to use the new academic building. In the year 1919, Villa had a visit from some dangerous people, the Ku Klux Klan. But the situation was handled by Sister Vincentia.
Well, the story is that Sister Vincentia, who was the directress here, got word that they were coming, and they did come, and they were going to build a cross and have a cross burning here because it's a high hilltop and could be seen for miles around. And she came out, I don't know how true this is, but it's written down. She had a pistol, her brother's pistol, and she came out and she told them to get off the property, that she was going to protect her girls, and they left. They didn't have a cross burning.
Villa already had an elementary school and a high school, so the next logical step would be a college. So in 1921, Villa Madonna College began.
It was started by the Benedictine sisters and was meant to be a training college for those who were going to be teachers, but it kept growing. So the sisters had a school down on 12th Street called St. Walburg Academy. It was right behind the cathedral, and they had an academy there, so some of the classes went down there, and then they had a bus, and they called it the Wisdom Wagon, which would take the college girls from here down to there.
In 1929, the Villa Madonna College moved to 12th Street in Covington, but the building has since been demolished. The school itself is currently located in Crestview Hills and known as Thomas More College, and is no longer associated with Villa.
So, like other things, it just kept growing and growing and growing, and finally they got some property out in Crestview Hills, and they renamed it. There was a lot of confusion with Villa Madonna Academy and Villa Madonna College because at one time they were both here, and mail would frequently get mixed up and so on. So,
one of the most memorable symbols of Villa is something that those who enter Villa every day will see: the decorative stone entrance, which was built back in 1931.
I think it was under the leadership of Mother Margaret, who eventually, she had been art teacher here for many years, and then later on she taught art down at the college in Covington. But it was during her term as mother, the prioress head of the community, that was put up.
After many years, a new addition would be added to the campus of Villa Madonna Academy, a new school building to be connected to the old building.
But again, it was growing, and actually plans for it were before 1956. So the cornerstone says 1956, and the students didn't move into it until 1958. But if you look at the old yearbooks, like 1957, you can see it under construction.
110 years, Villa Madonna Academy has been open. Student life has changed in many ways, from uniforms to everyday activities that students are able to participate in. In 1945, the Student Council was established, and over the years, it became a big part of Villa.
Tell you from when I went to high school here, we would meet every Friday at a thing called activity period, and we would sit around in a big circle in what is now Miss Shinkle's room, and we would talk a whole lot about nothing and not get a lot done. But we had committees who would do things and get things done. And when I came back 20 years later, a lot of that had disappeared, and I wasn't exactly sure why. Now, Student Council is very, very busy and active and has lots of projects through the year.
Even in the 1950s, boarders were still a large part of the Villa community. Although their numbers were starting to dwindle, their daily life was unique and unlike those who commuted to school every day.
They had a lot of togetherness. They'd get up at the same time, the bell would ring, everybody get up, everybody run to the bathroom, take a shower. Usually they took their showers in the nighttime. But everybody had to brush their teeth, they had to run over, have breakfast, come back over, get dressed for school, make their beds, get their books together, and then they spent time in school. And then after school they would have a lot of time together, just talking and gabbing until study hall time. And then they had their study hall, and in the evening they had recreation in another study hall. And then they'd have to get ready for bed, and lights went out at a certain time, and everybody better be in.
Over the years, Villa has had many activities and types of recreation for the students, from a bowling alley to even a swimming pool.
At that time also, there were bowling alleys, 2 bowling alleys. I think some hotel or something gave the sisters the bowling alleys because we had boarders, and this gave them a little outlet. So the bowling alleys were in what is presently the kindergarten area. The pool area was there. I think that probably was there from the beginning.
Originally, Villa offered an entire curriculum, but the administration decided to take the school in a more educational direction. The high school was converted into a college prep school, swapping classes like woodshop and home economics for AP classes.
We had a comprehensive high school that included business courses and those types of courses to give students job preparation right away. With the size of the school changing, we could not continue to have all of those classes and do the best job for everybody. So going to college prep was probably a good idea.
In 1977, student life changed completely and forever. It was the first year that boys were admitted into the elementary school.
When I first started, there were very few boys. I think there were maybe 3 boys in that graduating class. And since then, the male to female ratio has balanced out, and I think that's made a big difference. There are a lot more sports that students are involved in, a lot more activities.
Well, I remember when I was teaching here, and my first time I taught here during the late 60s and early 70s, a lot of parents wanted their sons to have the same education as their daughters did. And so they were always pushing us, why don't you take boys? Why don't you take boys? And then in the 70s, enrollment started going down, down, down. And so we started taking boys then to help the enrollment. Didn't help too much at first. In 1983, I think, was our lowest enrollment. And that's when I came back, and there were boys in the grade school, but not in the high school yet.
Student life has changed over the years, but the one constant has been the Benedictine core values. Students since Villa opened its doors have shown nothing but respect, stewardship, hospitality, and many more key values.
The mission of Villa Madonna Academy is to prepare students based on Benedictine values to be lifelong learners in our global community.
In November of 1999, construction of the new athletic facility started, equipped with a basketball court, volleyball court, and weight rooms. The old gymnasium was replaced by the Theater and Fine Arts Center.
When I came here 19 years ago, one of the first things the athletic director said to me was, we need a new gym. At that time, the current theater space and the fine arts space was our gym and our multi-purpose room. We had a board and a PTAO and boosters who were visionaries, and we did a capital campaign, and the gym was built. And also tied to the building of the gym was the renovation of the third floor.
Technology has proved to be the biggest change of modern Villa. With the one-to-one iPad program, school-wide use of computers, and the broadcast and theater technology classes being added to the curriculum.
To stay in constant communication with each other. I think it's something that maybe we didn't have as much in the early days of Nokia cell phones instead of smartphones, and obviously we didn't have the iPads. So I think probably technology and communication is the biggest change.
The use of technology has changed the school quite a bit.
Villa's graduations are one of a kind, held every year at Mother of God Church in Covington. Starting back from the beginning, graduating girls wore white gowns, and when boys were accepted, the tradition continued, allowing boys to wear tuxedos.
These graduations are a good time to kind of take stock of what has changed, the good things during a year, the bad things maybe during a year. So I'm going to say graduations in general, mine and the ones that I've been here for.
Villa Madonna is a great community, from the dedicated teachers to the hardworking students. It's a place that everyone feels like they belong, and it's their home.
I think it's a great community, and I think it instills an appreciation for learning that lasts through your lifetimes. It's not necessarily the end of a journey when you leave Villa, but maybe the beginning of one.
That there is no school like Villa. A school is as good as its teachers and its students, and the teachers and students here at Villa are unmatched.
Villa.
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 Villa.